So the new financial year has begun, and it's time for me to share with you what I do in the background to prepare me for a new financial year. I do have my trusted laptop here because it does have the trackers that I use whenever I'm preparing for the new financial year. It's not too different from what I do on a monthly basis. So I often look at the finances, my personal finances, my personal life. I look at lifestyle, I look at travel, I look at a whole variety of things just to give myself a holistic view of where I am currently, what I'm doing, areas that I would like to improve on, and all of that good jazz. So I do that looking at the last 3 months, and then I look at the next 3 months. So normally that's what I like to do. But when it comes to resetting for a new financial year, I look at specifically, I focus a lot on what I have coming up for the rest of the year, right? But the first 3 months are always a very good gauge and guide of what my finances will look like and areas that I could potentially look to change or tweak or what have you. So that's what we're going to cover in today's video. I know that a lot of people might be thinking, why would you want to even like reset for a new financial year? Personally, one of the major reasons is because I do get a pay rise at work. So every year I get a pay rise. I'm fortunate in that capacity that I get a pay rise, and every single year I like to adjust my contributions at work. So what are the deductions that I want them to take, which sometimes impacts how much money I bring in net and all of that good. Just so I like to sit down and do a look at my salary sacrifice, then look at the expenses that I have that I potentially want to change, and then also look at those expenses that are either quarterly, biannual, or annually, and then just see how they will impact my finances. So that is what we're going to do in today's video. Okay, so the first thing that I want to actually do is we're going to go into my big plans for the future planner. So this is broken down into several segments on here, and the first one is my 2025 annual goals. So when I shared the video, I'll see if I can link up in the cloud, but when I shared the video, I shared with you the first part was my year 5 goals. So if you didn't know, I am on a 5-year plan. I wrote this back in 2020, December 2020, and 2021 was my year 1. So I've been working on these financial goals for the last 5 years, and this is currently year 5. And then I shared with you the financial goals that I wanted to focus on in 2025, my lifestyle goals, and then my debt goals. So those are the 4 areas that I covered, and that's what is in the first segment. So when we look at my year 5 goals, I said I wanted to reach 125k in all of my investments. This gone Sunday, I shared with you my net worth for Q1, and in there I showed you where I am with my my pension, and I'm actually at 125. So I have actually accomplished this goal. I wasn't actually sure if I was going to accomplish this goal, especially with what is currently happening with the stock market, but that's not the purpose of today's video, so we'll not go there. My second one was to reach 2 million in assets. I'm currently at 1.2 million. So yeah, that's where we are. Reach 1 million in net worth. I'm currently 450k in my net worth at the moment. With everything going the way it's going, I don't know. And then I said to buy my first HMO property, and I've spoken about this in my year 5 plan in other videos that I may potentially not actually go for an HMO. So if you didn't know what an HMO is housing of multiple occupants. So in the UK, you can rent out a 3-bed house, and each room is rented out to a different person. And then you can convert your living room, either leave it as a social area or maybe make it as another room, and all of that good jazz. So I was thinking of doing that because there's a lot of university cities in the UK that they rent rooms to students. So I wanted to get into that because this is something I actually knew even when I was at uni, that it's something I wanted to do in the future, but I don't think this year is the year I'm gonna do it. Anyway, so that was the year 5 goals that I had. In terms of my financial goals, I said reach 10k in my emergency fund and save 2k in my annual bill sinking funds. I'm far away from either of these goals, so definitely nowhere near where I would like to be. And then if we go to my lifestyle goals, read 25 books. I have actually read 10 books and I'm currently reading book 11 and book 12, which I love for me. So I think I'm on target, and I was even thinking about this. I'll probably read more than 25 books, so hopefully I don't hit a reading slump. But yeah, so I read 5 books in January, and then I really struggled throughout February. I didn't finish any book in February, and then in March I read 5 books, which is great. So yeah, so that's where I am. I think I'm tracking pretty well. Travel abroad at least once a month. January I did, February I did, March technically I did, because when March rolled in I was in Dubai, so technically I did, but I haven't been anywhere else. April I was meant to travel, but I've moved my trip to next month, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to make a trip abroad this month. I'm not really sure, but yeah. But anyway, I said at least once a month, so we shall see. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then my third lifestyle goal is to visit a spa or theater once a month, and I've been doing this. January I did both, February I did both, March I think I only went to the spa, I didn't go to the theater, so I would like to go to the theater in April, but otherwise I wouldn't mind going back to the spa again. And then I have this fourth bit here is deco. I want to pay off my creation loan, I want to pay off my Zopa loan, I want to pay off my credit cards. We are moving really great with all of them. I want to say literally, like right now for creation loan I'm at 6,200 left. My Zoba loan is under 16,000 pounds, and my credit card is only one, and that's 3,500. So I think we're doing okay there. Quickly looking over the goals that I set back in January. Financial, we weren't really doing that well. I had so much to pay for. Lifestyle, did great there. Like I said, I did go to the spa, and I got a hammam when I was in Morocco, and then I went to the theater and I saw the Book of Mormon in theater. I had traveled, I had 2 trips, no, just 1 trip in January, and then I started swimming. You guys, I can now swim. Like after 9 weeks I can now swim. I'm still perfecting, I'm still a little bit scared, so we'll continue for maybe another 2-3 months, but I can swim now. Yeah, anyway, and then start therapy. I started therapy as well. I did the consult in December, and I saw that me and my therapist matched, so we started officially in January. So yeah, very happy about that. February, finances were all over the place. I had to pay my accountants. I actually didn't do this until March when I came back from vacation, but my taxes were submitted for 2023 to 2024, and I was owing something, so I was put on a repayment plan in January, and I was paying $250 every single month, and then I decided, you know, let's just get rid of it in March, and I paid all of it off. Lifestyle, I did go to the spa, and I did go to the theater, and I met up with my friends, which is always a highlight for me. I did travel twice. I went to Milan for the day, then I went to Dubai, and then I did a day trip to Abu Dhabi as well. And then weight wise, I have been doing really great with my weight loss journey, but that's not my focus. I'm focusing on staying healthy and me putting on some muscle. That's what we're working on. And then for March, finances, paid off my tax bill. I paid my annual bills that came up, plus my water bill. My water bill I pay twice a year, so I paid for that in March, and I also renewed my passport. So if I don't travel April, May will be my first trip abroad on my new passport, but I want to like christen it with this short trip into mainland Europe, but we shall see. And then I did go to the spa, like I said. For lifestyle goals, wellness, I'm continuing to swim, and then travel we didn't do any because I ended up moving. No, I came back from Dubai in March and all of that good jazz. So that is on the first segment of my planner, which is looking at my annual goals, which I then break down into monthly and all of that. Then with finances, I don't think there's been much that has changed with my finances outside of, you know, having annual bills that I have to pay every other month. I don't have them monthly, but I always like to track them. I write a mock budget in here before I import it into the tracker. So January, I don't think there was anything surprising in January at all. No. In January, that's when I went on that repayment plan for my taxes. February, nothing too different there. Yeah, nothing too different. And then March was my bonus month, so I did bring in quite a large paycheck, which if you look at my budget recap for March, you'll be like, girl, where did all the money go? Debt. That's where the money went, debt. But otherwise, there wasn't anything too different from my monthly, in that outside of paying for debt, everything else was pretty much the same. I did pay off my taxes, renewed my passport, paid down all my credit cards, and then I also did a salary sacrifice update at work, so I know what I should be expecting starting this new financial year. Except I went into the HMRC app and it talked about my tax code might be changing, so I may need to recalculate that and see how that impacts my net pay. But I did increase how much I contribute towards my pension, towards my share plan, towards my dental, and towards additional investing with the company I work for. So that was the first 3 months. My bills remained fairly the same, between 2,250 to 2,500. My expenses range between 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. In March, I did bump that up to 3,000 pounds. My debt still remains between 1,400 to 1,600, and then my investments fluctuate between 600 pounds to about 800 pounds over the last 3 months. So nothing huge has come through on any of these months that I've gone through. So looking to the upcoming months, I'm wondering, like, what are the annual subscriptions that I have? And I do have a subscriptions tracker that I try to look in every single month. So for example, like, I knew in April my Disney Plus was coming up, and they sent me an email. They always send it, like, I think a month before it's due. And the previous year, my annual Disney subscription was, I think, about 101 pounds. Tell me why they are saying it's 150 something for this year to renew for 1 year. I was like, no thank you. So I've gone to the one with ads and pay monthly, so that's like $4.99. I literally could not, and I was even asking my family members, I was like, is anybody really using it? I only have like 1 or 2 programs that I watch on there anyway. So yeah, I was even this close to canceling it, like literally that close. But yeah, so with that one, and then also Norton Security, I need to give them a call after this this video, because why did you take £100? Last year it was £40, and I was expecting maximum £50 with inflation, but £100? I'm calling them. I want my money back, because what do you mean £100? That's crazy. And I don't remember receiving an email to tell me that, oh, your subscription has gone up or your offer has ended or anything like that. So I want my money back, because that's ridiculous. And I was expecting it actually to come out in May, but thankfully I look over everything, so I wasn't too shocked when I saw it. But yeah, even my TV license is going through this month. I was sure it was May because I've written everything down, so I don't know why things have changed up, but that's okay. But anyway, so when I was looking at my subscriptions, January, I had my Ring camera for my home that I needed to pay for. I pay annually for that. And then there were other subscriptions I decided I didn't want to renew anymore. My home insurance was due in March, so that went through. Amazon was also due in March, which had gone up a little bit. I almost canceled it, but my family use it more than I do, and I think we use it more for Prime videos. So that was done. So home insurance, Amazon. I have another app called Viki where I watch my Asian dramas, and then Linktree for my business also went through. But yeah, so for May, I know that I have my DVLA coming through for my car, and that is it, because my Norton has already come out in April for some reason, and so has my TV license. So yeah, and then June and July I have no annual subscriptions coming due. The next thing I have potentially, oh well, not potentially, MOT for my car in August. September I've got my car insurance. October I've got my floor period app and my iQIYI app, which is similar to Viki where I watch my Asian dramas. Then DVLA, because I pay twice a year, in May and in November. So DVLA comes up in November, and then in December I have my Costco annual subscription coming due as well. So that's how I look at my money. So I don't only look at like what is my budget doing, but also any changes. And I've actually been spending a lot of time comparing the last 5 years. I did a video recently about home ownership. I've now been a homeowner for the last 5 years, and the cost of everything has literally gone, like, doubled, tripled. My mortgage my mortgage has definitely doubled in the last 5 years. So I went from being just under £700 to now 1,500, which is crazy to me. But yeah, so that is on the finance part of it. Now that's the only thing. I also track my credit cards, but I track credit cards like every week. I look over them. I want to make sure I'm not owing anything or there are no surprises. And this is how I was able to notice that Norton, which I was expecting to come out next month, has already come out in April. And not only has it come out early, it's also double what I normally pay. So this is why it pays to always check and stay on top of your finances. I'm not perfect. I'm still making mistakes, but I like to stay on top of it by checking these things. So that's credit cards. And then as you might be aware, I do have rental properties, so I write things down as well. I track my rental properties and how I budget for them separately. I haven't done a video on that in a while now. Maybe I'll do one soon, but I'm not sure. So I track that as well and just make sure everything is honky-dory. And then I also track my investments. So my funds on Vanguard, in the ISA and in the SIP, I track with my employer. I invest in the company I work for, plus my pension as well. And in my general investment accounts, I check all of that. And then I look at my debt. How much am I owing? How much can I afford to send to this? What is my goal for this year, for this month, for this quarter? All of that good jazz. So that I do that, and I write all of this. So this is my holy grail. It has everything. Then I look at my side businesses like my Etsy, my blog, and my YouTube. I'm looking at all of those things and seeing the costs, because running a YouTube is costing me money. Running my blog costs me money. Running my Etsy costs me money. Everything costs money, okay? Even the air I'm breathing costing me money. And then that's it. That's all I track in here. So what I'm going to try and do is just share with you a quick glance at my annual dashboard. So according to my annual dashboard, this data includes some of April's data, because obviously all my bills, not obviously, but obviously to me, to you guys, you might not know, but all of my bills come out in the first few days of the month, so between the 1st and the 5th. So all my bills have gone through. That data includes that. So total income so far is £25,000, over £25,000. Total to my bills has been over £10,000. Total expenses is over £9,000. Total savings, I'm ashamed to say, it's under £700. And then to my investments, I actually did take money out back in January to pay off my credit cards, and life. And then I sent over 12,000 towards my debt over. So now this is not just my personal loans, but my credit cards as well. So that's where we are. And here, according to my tracker, my top bill has been my mortgage. My top expense has been travel. Not surprised at all. And then my top saving has been my emergency fund. I am trying to refund, my emergency fund, but I seem to be bumping along on this one. It's actually quite tough, but yeah, so that's where we are. I was actually quite surprised to see like how much I'd sent towards my mortgage. So my mortgage, like I said, is between 1,400 1,500. I normally try to round it up to 1,500, but since January I've been doing 1,400 1,400. So that's about 4,000 something, don't really know. But yeah, so it's been interesting to actually like see how much that has been over the last 3 months. And then I am remortgaging my property in July, so how much I'm sending towards my home will obviously change. So I'm also planning for that, and I'm anticipating. I've already done my mock budgets up until June, and I already did my mock budget from July, but I only did July because that's the only one that will change drastically for the rest of the year. So I will look at the rest of the year when maybe August, when I'm doing my August budget. But yeah, so that's that. I think we've covered the annual goals. We have covered life in general, and I've talked about my my debt and my plans for that. And then also I will not go into my net worth tracking because last weekend I shared with you my net worth update. So overall, I've spent the last few weeks, actually I think I want to say 2 weeks now, I reviewed the last 3 months. I planned for the next 3 months, essentially the rest of the year, but with special focus on the next 3 months. I looked at my finances, what I projected for the year, how I'm tracking against that. I looked at my personal stuff, so like my lifestyle planning. I wanted to swim this year. I wanted to learn how to swim, which I have been able to do. I want to attend a Japanese classroom. I haven't enrolled in that because when I was actually making these goals, I had missed the enrollment period already. So I'm going to sign up end of this year. So Q3 is when I'll actually be signing up for a course to be in a classroom to do Japanese. And then I also wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle. I'm going to be using my sister's bicycle. I just need someone to teach me, and we'll be on a roll with that. So that was like the big thing with my lifestyle. And then my travel, like I said, I want to go back to traveling every single month. However, I'm not sure if I'll be able to fulfill that for April, because with Easter everything is expensive, and the way my weekends are set up right now, I'm not really sure. So we shall see. But yeah, I think that is it, you guys. I don't have much to say, but that's what I normally do when I'm going through like resetting for the new financial year. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that goes on, especially with my salary sacrifice, because I have to rejiggle some numbers, play around and see what will actually work well for me in terms of net pay. Because once I know what my projected net pay is, I'm a salaried employee, so it often doesn't change unless I manipulate it with salary sacrifice. So I try and do that in March before the new financial year sets in. So I set it up so that it can be applied from April onwards with my April pay, which is coming up in a week and a bit. So we'll see if that has been applied. But yeah, that's the video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video real soon.